Before we begin with our program today, I'd like us all to just take a moment and to recognize that no matter where we are in the loving presence of God, and we will begin this program this evening as we begin all things that are good at Catholic Memorial, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God of love, we thank you for the compassionate guidance of your Son. When worries or anxieties cloud our outlook, please bring us brighter days through greater faith in your care for us. When we encounter others in need of compassion, give us the faith and courage of our founder, Blessed Edmund Rice, to serve others generously, to brighten days of others by sharing your love. We ask this through your name, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I'll now ask our president, Dr. Peter Folan, to address the crowd.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone is happy and healthy and doing well. We're excited today to connect, albeit virtually, to help families and more importantly, our future knights to get excited about what's to come, to put some names with some faces, and to think about the world of possibilities that are coming. CM is a wonderful school. In this different world that we've had in this different school year, I think we've grown stronger. I think we are even more intentional in the work that we're doing, the way we're engaging with young men, and the curriculum that we're providing. We have a transformative education, and we are looking to find ways to help young men to become their best version of themselves. And that's so important. And we're excited as each of you starts to think about getting ready to start in the fall, that you have a wonderful summer, that you have the resources that you need, that you have a chance to read some great books, hopefully to experience nature, to have some more wonderful time with your family, and also to begin to imagine about who you're going to become, the experiences that you want to have, and how you want to spend your time here at CM. We're an amazing community with a caring faculty and an incredible program. We're excited to welcome you to our school, and we know you're going to have a great experience. So use your time this summer wisely, enjoy these moments, have some great fun, and get excited for the year that's coming. So I want to welcome you all and turn it back over to our incredible principal, Mr. O'Brien. Thanks very much, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Dr. Folan. And I would echo his thanks to this group again for joining us this afternoon. I know everybody has busy schedules. Students are finishing up their school years, and parents are hard at work. So we appreciate the time. We hope that this evening will be informative for everyone, and more than anything, just an opportunity to put some faces to the names that you're going to be seeing in the myriad of communications that you'll be getting from us throughout the course of the summer. Obviously, we would love to be doing this in person, but obviously the extenuating circumstances won't allow that. So we are blessed that we're able to connect at least virtually. So we have a number of things we're going to be doing today. But first, what we always start with here in large meetings is our mission, and that's really purposeful. Because it is our mission that binds us together as a community. Parents, families, students, teachers, staff, we all come to Catholic Memorial and we all give of ourselves because of this mission statement, because we live and breathe and believe in this mission. And what's primary to this mission is the transformation of boys' lives. I'm sure you all heard this, and hopefully boys experienced this when they came to visit campus. But this is something that we are incredibly proud of, in particular, over the course of the last 2 months, as challenging as remote learning could be. What helped us and what guided us through our decision-making and through our programming was our commitment to this mission and our commitment to transforming boys, and not just transforming boys' lives singularly, but in a variety of ways through academics, arts, athletics, and campus ministry. We believe that the holistic development of the boy comes in all of these different avenues, and it's important to engage the students in the variety of mediums that we have so that they can find their true selves in their time here at Catholic Memorial. And of course, this is all done in order to challenge our students. We challenge them to pursue excellence. And we believe that excellence is not a destination, but it is a journey. That pursuit is the importance. We don't say that, straight A's or, starting lineup, that isn't necessarily excellence. It is the pursuit of your best self where excellence is born. We ask that students embrace gospel values and lead through service. As I said, the last 2 months has been a challenge, as I'm sure it has been for you and your families. But one thing I'm incredibly proud of as the principal of this school is the fact that this remained our commitment, regardless of the avenue in the vehicle by which we delivered our education. I'm proud to say that that this remained at the center of everything that we did. And I believe that we did just an outstanding job in delivering to our students as we do every day. Our goals for today, this is really about an introduction to a lot of the people at Catholic Memorial that you're going to be interacting with. Of course, next fall when you officially enroll and we begin classes, but also throughout the summer. We, believe it or not, we are a buzzing community throughout the summer with a lot of work being done, both physically on the physical plant of the school as we finish up the construction of our CIAL, but also programmatically as we work in different groups, both virtually and in person, to prepare and make sure that we are ready for all of you and your fellow classmates come the fall. There's also going to be an explanation. You're going to get a lot of information, particularly in the next week or so, that is going to ask a lot of you. It's different forms, different pieces of material that are going to have a lot, that's going to ask a lot of you. And we want to give you a little bit of an explanation of that, but more importantly, we want to give you an explanation of who it is that you should be reaching out to if you have questions. We don't assume that just you get an email and you understand fully everything that's expected of you. So what we wanted to do today was to point you in the right direction of who to ask about what and who to call when you do have a question. Because I think, the loneliest place on earth is the person who is sitting not asking the question. That's a tremendously isolating feeling. I'm sure you parents can probably remember experiences like that back when you were students. I know I certainly can, and I certainly feel that way as well as a parent sometimes. It can be a helpless feeling. And so we want to make sure that you feel comfortable in that you are members of our community and the people in this community and people that you can reach out to. And then the last piece is the preparation. We want to be transparent and informative to you about what we're doing to prepare for your sons to enroll in the fall. But also we want to give you a little bit of a cheat sheet and a head start on how you all can be preparing for the fall as well. So those are our goals today and what we hope to accomplish. So today is really in the spirit of the CM and family partnership. This is something that we believe deeply and is rooted in who we are as a school and what we believe the education of a young man to be. We believe that families are our partners and students are at the center. You have raised your sons to be the quality young men that they are, that gained acceptance to our school. And, we see ourselves as an extension of that. Yes, we will take a little bit more of the lead in some areas than others, but the reality is that they're still home with you far more than they're here with us, even though at times it won't seem like it when they have practice in the afternoons and hanging out with friends and study groups in the evenings. They're still spending the majority of their time with their families. And so, we really see the best outcomes come from an authentic partnership with the school. We believe that this is a shared responsibility. The rearing of your son to be the type of young man that he can be is a shared responsibility between us. And how does that occur? How does that happen? It happens through continuous communication. So not just in moments like today where, it's really Catholic Memorial talking to you. That's just the avenue that we're using this evening. But it's a back and forth, and we want you to feel comfortable and empowered to pick up the phone or write an email and contact any of us. Because again, we believe that shared responsibility includes that communication. There are things that you're going to see at home that can help inform us of how we work with your son, just as there are things that we're going to see on campus that we're going to inform you of, so that you can be fully aware of all the things that are going on in your son's lives. The high school years are transformative times, and it's really important that the young men understand and know that we are in this together, and we are pulling at the same rope with the ultimate goal of helping them become their best selves. And most importantly, I just want you all to know and embrace that this is a journey and a process. And I emphasize that word process because a process is not necessarily linear. Sometimes the old saying, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that may occur. My hope is that all of our students arrive on campus and just catapult into the stratosphere as they develop as young men. But the reality is that young men learn through challenge, and inevitably, when someone is challenged, they may stumble. That's all part of the process. I'll reiterate, what's most important is that when you're feeling as though you're watching your son stumble in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. That is part of the process, but part of that process is also the communication with the faculty and staff here at Catholic Memorial. As I said, you're going to be getting a lot of communication from us this summer. One of those things that you're going to be getting at the end of this week is our annual June mailing. So our June mailing is kind of the first piece of information that we send out every summer. It comes just after our school year ends, and it includes a variety of pieces of information that we need you to get us, and that also that you need to be aware of as we prepare for the fall. So included in that, and again, I don't expect everybody to memorize this or take notes. Again, you're going to get all of this in an email at the end of this week. But over the course of this webinar, you're going to see the various people who are kind of behind these larger headings, and who you can always reach out to ask with different questions. So there will be important dates to remember on that mailing. There will be some transportation questions that you have that there's a form involved in there if you have transportation issues, or if you're questioning about how your son's going to get to school. You can fill that form out, and we'll work with you on that. Health and medical forms. You have your summer assignments. So I know people have asked already about what those are. Those are going to be posted this week. Part of that is going to be an all-school read, or a community read, as we call it. That was a tradition that we began last year with the reading of the Red Bandana. That culminated a really unbelievable experience for our students when Wells Crowther's mother came to campus. The protagonist in the book came to campus and spoke with our boys. It was a really moving experience, and we're looking to build on that. And this year's book is called A Chance in the World. It's a memoir about now an older man, but at the time, the life of Steve Pemberton, who was born in Massachusetts. And it talks all about kind of some of the struggles that he went through the foster care system and different things in his life to help him become the man that he is today. So that's actually going to get delivered to all of you. So I hope nobody's on Amazon right now feverishly typing in A Chance in the World to order it. We're actually going to provide that to you, and that's going to be delivered to you in the next week or so by members of the admissions office and the administration. So be on the lookout for someone knocking on your door with a couple fun deliveries. In addition to that community read, we will have grade level and course level work. Not all courses that you enroll in will have additional summer assignments, but some will. So you'll want to make sure that you check on that link and check on your classes. Mr. O'Keefe, our Director of School and College Counseling, is going to talk to you later on about kind of some of the time frame of when you'll get your classes. But that's just another piece to the puzzle as you think about planning out the rest of your summer. Campus ministry, we have a thriving campus ministry program that's really essential to our freshman experience and onboarding our students. And you'll get some information about that, as well as athletic information, guidance information about how you can reach out to your counselor, and then also some technology requirements. So like I said, a lot coming at you, but it's all in the spirit of informing you and also helping us prepare for the school year. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that, in September, it's very much up in the air of exactly what school is going to look like in September. Obviously, with state guidelines and state restrictions, all schools have been closed for the last 2.5 months. Our hope in our planning is that we will resume school in September. But we are preparing for a variety of scenarios, and I'll talk about that later. But before I get into that, I would like to call on some of my colleagues to share, to introduce themselves and to share a little bit about what their expertise is on campus and a little bit about themselves, what brings them to Catholic Memorial. So I'll start by calling on a couple members of my administration. My two vice principals, Mr. Carl Danzo and Miss Gloria Riley. So Mr. Danzo, you want to introduce yourself? I believe you're on mute, Mr. Danzo.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You're good now.
Sorry about that. As I was saying, my name is Carl Danzo. I am the vice principal for grades 9 through 12. So excited to have you all here and unfortunately not in person, but excited to get a chance to speak with you. My primary role has to do with student life. And I also deal with transportation. So I'll be speaking to you a little bit about that, as Andrew was alluding to earlier. I am originally from Boston. I am a Catholic Memorial graduate, class of 2004. And then I spent the last 10 years down in Washington, D.C. This past year was my first year back at CM, and it was just a tremendous year, a unique year for sure, but it was a great experience nonetheless.
Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Gloria Riley. I have been at Catholic Memorial for the past 5 years, serving as vice principal. I'm the vice principal of, that has to do with academics. I work with the counselors and Ms. Rooney in terms of accommodations and setting up plans for student success. I'm the coordinator for College Board and all the APs and SATs and PSATs, and I'm the one through whom the applications for accommodations for these exams, I work on those. Also coordinate with Ms. Rooney and the counselor in middle school with Learning Ally for some of our students who have difficulty reading and have their textbooks. They get their textbooks online and being read to them so that they're more able to keep up with their classes. I'm the person that you would contact if you have any questions at all about the summer assignments that Mr. O'Brien spoke about, and anything to do with accommodations for your students, learning accommodations for your students. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Danzo and Miss Riley. As someone who served the school as a vice principal for 5 years, I just finished up my first year as principal. I always I have a soft spot in my heart for the work of Mr. Danzo and Miss Riley as vice principals, because they do so much work with our students and are just so amazing such amazing resources and allies for our parents as well. So thank you so much. And speaking of tremendous allies for our families, I next want to call up some members of our main office staff, and that includes Mrs. Liz O'Connell, Mrs. Denise Henry, and Mrs. Ann Batchelor. So Liz, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your role here at Catholic Memorial?
Great. Thank you, Mr. O'Brien, and welcome everyone today. As Mr. O'Brien said, I'm Liz O'Connell. I'm one of the office administrators, and I have been at Catholic Memorial. I'll be starting my 7th year at Catholic Memorial. The good news is I have been in your shoes as a new parent. My son, Nolan, will be a rising senior, and he began Catholic Memorial in the 7th grade over at Donahue Hall. My husband and I and my family, we could not be more grateful, more confident that we made the best decision for our Nolan. Who he has grown into be is just unbelievable. So to think that your son is leaving his hometown, maybe a private school or a Catholic school, this young little boy, when he reaches that senior year, I guarantee you he will be a different young man than he is now. Part of my role is that it is to make sure your sons have a comfortable experience on a day-to-day basis. One of our daily goals is that we really want to be there for our families. We could talk to you on the telephone, we can ask via email questions, anything throughout the day. But one of the most specific things that I also do is I work with our uniform program. We will be moving to an online school store for the first time this summer. You will be receiving that information a little bit later in some emails. And I also work on our textbook program with our online partner, as well as I work with my good friend Denise Henry, who helps us get through the day on campus. One important date I do want to give you is the week of July 13th. You will receive a link for our online school store to be open, where you'll be able to purchase all of your uniforms, as well as spirit wear. And that will be the same week that you will receive the information on how to purchase or rent your son's school books. And you can also find our ISBN numbers, which will be placed on our website if you would like to source your own school books. Also important to know is that no question is too small or too big, and please feel free. We work all summer and we are available via email or telephone. Feel free to reach out, and I am looking forward to meeting you and especially your sons in September. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Denise Henry, and as Liz just said, her and I work as a team in the front office just to make your transition as easy and smooth as possible, and to make every day run as smooth for your son as we can. I'm starting my 6th year at Catholic Memorial, and I'm also parent of a graduate of the class of 2017. A couple of things you'll hear from me over the summer about is our parent and student portal on campus. This system will allow you to familiarize yourself with schedules, your son's grades, attendance, daily assignments, everything like that. You'll be receiving instructions regarding logins for on-campus account along with your student email about the end of June. If you have any issues with logging on, just don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. I'll be happy to work you through the process. I'll also be sending out information regarding attendance, how to call your child out sick for the day, and procedures that are in place if you're requesting an early dismissal or late arrival to school. Please stop by the main office to say hello. We look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. And again, welcome to CM.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Ann Batchelor. Good afternoon. My name is Ann Batchelor, and I'm the school nurse. And I've been at CM now for, this will be my 4th year. And like Denise and Liz, I also am a CM parent of 2 boys. Daniel will be an 11th grader in the fall, and Alex will be a 9th grader. So I do have that perspective, I have also been in your shoes as well. CM has been a wonderful experience for us. So I think you probably all know what a school nurse does. I'm here obviously to do the usual kind of physical exam and immunization surveillance. I'm here to manage the medication program. So if your student needs to take any kind of medication in school, or if they have an EpiPen or asthma or any other kind of chronic illness, obviously I'm the person to reach out to you. You will be getting lots of forms in that June mailing that you'll need to submit before school starts in terms of the health forms. And the other thing I do is the sports signups, and you'll be getting some information about that. So as you're registering your son for sports, if you're running into issues or you have questions about that, I am the person that you'll reach out to for that. There are quite a number of documents that are required before your son can be approved for sports. So give yourself time and make sure that you have everything that you need. And so then that way we can get your son ready for sports. So I look forward to meeting you. My office is right in the main office. So as you come in there, you can just ask to speak with the nurse, and Denise or Liz would direct you in there. Feel free to reach out to me over the summer via email or phone, and you'll be getting our contact information. I really look forward to meeting your son in the fall. Have a great summer.
Thank you all. And let me just say, as a first-year principal, I am just so incredibly lucky to have the staff in the front office that I do. Their care, not just for our boys, but for our faculty and our staff, and just the breadth of what they do to support all of us is just incredible. And I can assure you, you are going to get to know all of them on a first name basis in really positive ways. And it really extends beyond any job description, all of the just tremendous things that they do. But they're really, they're kind of the first voice and the first face of our community. And we're just incredibly lucky to have them. Next up, I'm going to call on a couple members of our what I'll call our student life team. And these are two individuals, we, as I said at the beginning, we believe in the development of our young men coming far beyond just in the classroom. And these two men kind of embody the full development of our students holistically. And so that's going to be Craig Najarian, our athletic director, and our director of campus ministry, Mr. Mike Dermody. So Craig.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Welcome, everybody. I love these days. I want to say it's exciting for me to always meet new members of our brotherhood. I will tell you, I'm entering my 6th year here at Catholic Memorial. I can't imagine a better school. For me, it's been an amazing experience, just the community, and I'm sure that's part of what attracted you to come in here. We have an amazing tradition and history, as many of you may know. And I always say to new students that, this is your opportunity to carve out your own path and carve out your own chapter. We have an amazing support system in place for all of our after-school activities. And honestly, I'm a big fan. I understand the culture of today's sports, but I'm a big proponent of multi-sport athletes. So I'm going to encourage your sons to try new things. I can tell you, as someone who played 2 sports, that I learned a lot more from the sport that I was a role player in than I did the one that I started in. So, stepping outside your comfort zone, understanding that, you may have a vision of how it's going to unfold, but it might take you on a different path, and that's okay. And we have dozens of stories of past knights that have had those experiences and then thrived. And so I'm going to do everything I can to help make your son's experience here, as Dr. Folan says, you're only 15 once, make their experience the best it can be. And I want to be more than just someone in the corner office. I want to get to know your son so that they can come see me, or if they have questions, they need to bounce something off me, I'm always there to talk to them. And I'm really excited to have you here. I do understand that there's probably a lot of questions surrounding the fall. And as Mr. O'Brien alluded to, we are planning as normal, but we are also going day by day, and we'll be preparing ourselves to pivot if we need to, with several different contingency plans. And we believe fully that being able to have that outlet in the afternoon is key to giving your son a whole experience. I know for myself, that's very important balance, and we're going to do everything we can to fulfill that for you. So I welcome you all. I look forward to meeting you, and I hope you all enjoy your summer. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Dermody. I am our Director of Campus Ministry here at CM. I am entering my 7th year working here at the school, but am in my 11th year overall at CM, as I am a proud graduate of the class of 2007. And I can't say enough how excited I am to meet your sons in the fall. As a proud graduate of the school, I would do anything to be in your boys' shoes and enter 9th grade all over again, and have the incredible experience that I had as a young man. Seems like yesterday. But really, I just wanted to share that, and Mr. O'Brien alluded to this, right, that I think at CM, we really believe that campus ministry is kind of at the heart of our school. Mr. O'Brien mentioned in our mission statement, right, that we seek to transform boys' lives. And really, that stems from the charism of Blessed Edmund Rice, who was the founder of the Congregation of the Christian Brothers, who founded CM back in 1957. And Blessed Edmund Rice spent his life seeking to transform the boys' lives in Ireland in the same way that we do at CM, by trying to provide them an education. Uniquely, at the time in Irish history, it was actually illegal to get an education back then. But I think our goal in the campus ministry office is really to encourage students to start to think about their relationships with God, and certainly their relationships with each other, and especially to start to examine those important ideals and values that will shape their life. And I think that's why you all have made that choice to send your son to a Catholic school. And so in the campus ministry office, we do that through a diverse variety of programs throughout the year that are really focused on 3 pillars that we have of faith, service, and community. And that program is intentionally designed to invigorate students of all different faith backgrounds. And certainly it includes various things as retreats, weekly and monthly liturgies, and certainly we have a very in-depth service-based program that includes various opportunities and events throughout the school year. And so we're especially excited to welcome your sons to the campus, to our campus in the fall, for our freshman experience, which is led by the campus ministry team. And this experience really fosters a welcoming and opening environment to kind of warmly receive all of your sons into our incredible community and culture. And it's led by faculty, staff, student leaders through a lot of engaging, fun activities, really designed to make their transition to CM smooth and welcoming. And so the dates for those are actually going to be on Monday, August 31st, and Tuesday, September 1st. So that's a 2-day program that will take place on CM's campus for the most part, although we will head to Hale Reservation to do some team building exercises, some rope climbing. And then we will also hike to the top of the Blue Hill Mountain, which is a lot of fun. We sing our fight song when we get to the top. It's a great kind of rah-rah moment for the freshman class to get together for the first time. And certainly you'll be receiving more information about all of this in the June mailing that Mr. O'Brien mentioned as well. But ultimately, I am available, as everyone has said, for any questions you might have about certainly campus ministry related events and kind of specifically around our service program or the freshman experience as well. But I look forward to meeting you all and your sons in the fall.
Thank you, Mr. Jaron and Mr. Dermody. You know, oftentimes I've been asked the question, particularly from incoming freshman parents, you know, I really want my son to get started on the right foot. Academics is our first and foremost, and so he's not going to get involved in the fall. He's just going to be concentrating on his academic studies. And while I completely agree that academics comes number one, I would also caution you to say that, you know, for adolescent boys, it's really important for them to buy in and be involved in a variety of avenues. And so I would actually encourage you not to tell him not to sign up for the sport or get involved in campus ministry. Actually, much the opposite. Find those things that you can try. experiment, see if you like it. These are those moments. What it actually does is provide some really nice structure for students. I've yet to meet a 14-year-old boy who goes home and does homework for 10 straight hours. Your son may be the first that I meet, but I think far more likely he'll need some structure around him to provide, to put himself in the best situation possible. And so I think one of the great ways that we do that is through the balance of the teacher-coach model and also the campus minister model, where they're not just people who come in after school, but these are our faculty, these are our teachers. And so they understand all of the demands that are on our students, and they take that into consideration as they think about practice times and travel to games and things like that. So I always encourage families to not just get their sons involved in things that they know they want to get involved with, but actually, push beyond that and try some new things as well. You never know when you're going to find your passion. And really, that's what high school is all about. It's about searching for that passion that will light your fires. The last group I want to call forward is not certainly not the least. That is our guidance and academic support group, led by our Director of School and College Counseling, Mr. Jack O'Keefe, our two high school guidance counselors, Rachel Kaplan and Thomas Claiborne, and also our Director of Academic Support, Miss Deb Rooney.
Hi, thank you, Andrew, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I really can't wait to, everyone said it. It is such a great warm feeling when we have all of our new students on campus in the fall. And we've met so many of you at open houses or visits to campus, and to really see that new class come together, it's something exciting. So we're looking forward to it. So I'm in my 8th year at CM. This is my 4th year in the office. Additionally, I've taught in our English and Social Studies department. I've worked closely with theology and the development of our math curriculum. So I think overall, as you're thinking about your son's counselor and how you might be reaching out to us, we have a very strong grasp on the overall curriculum at CM and what those pathways might be for our individual students. So while, Andrew mentioned the schedule before, and that's something that we're working on as we evaluate different possibilities for the fall and creating flex in there, we have a great deal of, I'm always inspired by the people I work with and their creativity and adaptability to the things around us. And we're approaching the schedule with the same level of care, consideration, and effort to make sure that it supports our students as best as we possibly can. And one thing I would want to say about scheduling is, while the schedule might often appear to be a what classes am I taking and what period of the day, yada, yada, yada. In our office, we usually look at that as the why. What is the reason I'm doing this? What are my personal goals? Why am I driven to do this? And what are my intentions as a student? So you might reach out to us about a schedule, but sometimes it's related to other issues as well. So if it's social emotional support, the transition to high school, especially whatever the spring looked like for you and your family, it was probably unconventional and not what you planned, and it might be a little bit difficult to come back in the fall. And Rachel Kaplan, Thomas Claiborne, and I are all excited to work with you and your son to make sure things go well. Additionally, you're going to be working with us for the next 4 years. Your son's counselor now will be the counselor that you graduate with. They're going to write your son's letter of recommendation for college and oversee that application process. So develop that relationship. I'm putting my email address in the chat box now. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm going to be working with students whose last name ranges from Gaffney to Leo. And then, I'm looking forward to our partnership. I'm also, briefly, before I turn it over to Rachel Kaplan, Deb Rooney, our Director of Academic Support, is on the call. Unfortunately, she's having some technical issues right now. But she is a fantastic advocate for our boys. She's entering her 3rd year at CM, and she works with students on a range of learning styles to develop skills and strategies to succeed at CM and beyond. If you are interested, she is leading a high school study skills enrichment program from August 17th to 20th, which will prepare for the transition to high school. And I'm going to add that link to register into the chat box as well as Rachel steps in.
Thanks, Jack. So hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Kaplan. I'm one of the other school counselors here at Catholic Memorial. I'm originally from Brookline, so I'm local. Prior to CM, I worked in the Wellesley Public Schools, and I'm finishing out my 2nd year this year at CM. It's been amazing. I will be working with the beginning of the alphabet through Freiberger. And just like Mr. O'Keefe did, I'm going to attach my email in the chat. If you guys need anything at all over the summer, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm excited to meet you all.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas Claiborne. It's absolute pleasure to meet everybody, and I look forward to meeting you guys in person. I will also throw my email in the chat box as well. I will be working with all the boys, last name ranging from McKinnon all the way to the end of the alphabet. I also coach at CM as well. This is my second year, going into my second year at CM. First year was absolutely phenomenal. I look forward to moving forward with the rest of my colleagues and also working with you guys as we move forward to the rest of what we're going through and as we go into a new school year. So feel free to reach out to me. My email is going to be in the chat box as well. I will send that there. And you guys have a great summer.
Thank you all so much. A really just incredible team, an incredible group that stewards our young men through high school and beyond. And they are too humble to boast, but if you happen to walk through the main lobby of the main building at campus, you'll see just outside their office is a list of some of the college acceptances that they've had over the course of the last 3 years. And it's really just a phenomenal list. But what's more impressive is that I think they've done an incredible job at finding the schools that best fit our boys. They do a great job at really understanding our students and understanding who they are individually. And I think that that's a credit to them as individuals, but also to the structure that, they're seeing your son come in his freshman year and they're walking with him through the 4 years of high school. You can't underestimate what that means for a counselor who can then help guide you through that college process. I think they've done an incredible job. And I look forward to watching them work with all of your sons as well. So now I want to transition a little bit. I'm sure, certainly based on a lot of the questions that we saw, what's kind of first and foremost in a lot of people's minds is this idea of, what is the 2020-2021 school year going to look like? Are we going to be teaching in person? Will it be a continuation of our remote learning program? The short answer, and the one I don't particularly like to give, is that unfortunately we just don't know. We do not have the guidance from the state and federal offices that we need to be able to firmly say this is what we're going to do. So in the absence of that firm knowledge, what we've been doing for the past 2 months and what we'll be doing over the course of the next 3 months is preparing to be as flexible and adaptable as we possibly can be, so that whatever situation we find ourselves in come the fall, we are going to be prepared to continue to live out our mission and continue to deliver the holistic development of your son that is necessary for them. So as Jack said, we are currently working on finalizing our schedules, and those will be out in the next couple of weeks, which is really exciting. We actually had the process entirely finished and ready to publish. And then with the guidance from that started to come out from the CDC and WHO, we realized, hold on a second, we need to rethink some things. And so we've taken a long look at our schedule and our process, and we've been tweaking some things to make sure that we can continue to deliver our product regardless of what the situation will look like in the fall. And really it comes down to 3 categories. There's 3 different scenarios that will play out in September. Number 1 will be that all students return to campus. I will be honest with you, based on what I'm hearing from colleagues and from health organizations, that seems like the least likely scenario, but certainly we are prepared and hopeful for that. And that's why, we're asking for all of this information in the June mailing. The second iteration is that we will begin the fall entirely in remote learning. I think that is a little bit more likely than everyone being back on campus, but I also, don't think that that is a high likelihood either. I think what it seems like is most likely right now is that there will be some sort of hybrid where a portion of the students will be on campus one day and another portion will be on the other. Again, what I can say is that we are prepared for all three of these scenarios and any way they play out, regardless of what the guidelines are put out. We are prepared, and we are just getting even more prepared throughout the summer months. So one thing I wanted to make sure that was clear for everyone is the start of school and the school calendar. So when you were accepted into CM, you should have gotten an at-a-glance calendar that kind of shows you the full scope of the school year so that you can plan accordingly your own personal vacations and things like that. What I will say is that regardless of what the school year looks like in the fall, we are going to start and we are going to stop at the same time. What those dates in between look like, there may be some maneuvering of professional days and different times off, but our campus will open and we will start on August 31st. So for all of your planning, that is the date that you should all keep in mind as you think about re-entering school. Again, right now that is scheduled to be the first day of our freshman experience in our freshman orientation. So school will begin that week. Right now, the plan is to have the freshman experience run the 31st and the 1st, along with an orientation, have an orientation for all other students on the 2nd, and begin with a full day of classes on September 3rd. And that may vary slightly depending on how we begin the school year, but we will begin the school year on August 31st. So what are we doing? How are we planning? How are we making these decisions? As I said, we try to be very mission oriented and mission based in our decision making. And so I wanted to share with you some of our guidelines and the things that we are holding dear to us as we make decisions. First and foremost, we are a faith and learning community, and that community is so important. We understand that building relationships with one another and with God must remain critical for all that we do. We are a college preparatory school for boys. So what does that mean? It means we need to make sure that we are providing a rigorous college-bound academic curriculum for young men, and it must be at the heart of what we are doing as we build our curriculum and build our schedule. And so that remains a pillar of our programming. We are committed to a transformative educational experience that engages the whole person. In addition to strong academic programs, we understand the need for a great arts program, athletics, and campus ministry. All of these things must continue to be important components of a CM's educational experience, regardless of what the school year will look like. And finally, we challenge our students to be the best versions of themselves. The pursuit of excellence, the embrace of gospel values, and the expectation that a young man flourishes when he learns to share his talents and time with others must endure as a defining characteristic of a CM education. These are the pillars by which we form all of our decisions. If we cannot accomplish these four things, we will not do it. These are our non-negotiables and what we will stand for no matter what. Again, just a couple pieces of information as we plan the year and guide the year ahead. We are committed to conducting in-person instruction in any way that we can. So if we are limited in terms of the number of students that are allowed in a classroom at any one time, we are prepared to deliver on those four pillars in any scenario that is given to us. But if we are allowed in any capacity to bring students to school, we are going to try and do that. That is something that we feel is really important. As good a job as we have done over the last 2 months in building and maintaining our community virtually, that can't replace what can be done in person. And so that is a priority for us. We are going to continue to work and look to guidance from the state, city, and Department of Education. They are producing guidelines and restrictions and those things are ongoing, and we have partners in all of those offices that we connect with regularly. So we will be informed whenever we make our decisions. And we've already created working committees and that have been hard at work over the last 2 months that are focusing on the myriad of concerns regarding reopening. So maintaining community. What does our curriculum instruction look like in a variety of scenarios? How do we promote Catholic identity in a virtual world? What are the logistics that we need to think about in terms of bringing students onto campus, bringing students off campus? And then what are the technology support areas that we need? These are all of the areas that we are focusing on and planning on throughout the summer. So now that I've kind of prefaced, kind of where our thinking is, I know that there were some other questions that people sent in that I wanted to give some people some opportunities to speak about and answer for all of you. So first, one of the questions that people had was, in regards to the fall, and that's where a lot of people's questions have been, was how are we preparing for the health and safety of our students? So I'm going to ask Miss Ann Batchelor, who's really been at the forefront of preparing us for any eventuality in the fall. I'm going to ask her to talk a little bit about kind of some of the ways that we are preparing as a school. So Ms. Batchelor.
Thanks, Mr. O'Brien. So Mr. O'Brien really did a great comprehensive overview of what we've been doing to prepare. Back when all of this started in February, we formed a working group which met weekly, daily, with the administration and some of the other key people at CM, and we were in daily consultation with public health authorities. Now, of course, the situation has changed drastically, and we've set up these working groups. We've made a number of changes to our facility, and we'll obviously be making lots of changes to how we do things. So we'll be sending out information about new policies and procedures. The big thing is that everyone knows this is a rapidly changing situation, and we need to be able to pivot really quickly. And I think we did that really well in the spring, and we've been working for a couple of months already preparing for the opening. So we'll continue to adapt and to communicate as well as we can, knowing that we don't have all the answers. And that information is changing all the time. But be assured that, especially from my perspective and the administration, everyone's perspective at CM, the health and safety of our community is paramount. So we look forward to hopefully welcoming everyone back in September.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Batchelor, and very well said. Another question a parent had that I thought was very appropriate and very purposeful was, with online learning, how does one build community? And so I've asked Mr. O'Keefe and Mr. Dermody to speak to this a little bit, and I'll ask Mr. O'Keefe first and foremost. What are some of the ways that CM was able to kind of maintain its community and build its community this spring in remote learning?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think one of the first things that we recognized once we went to online learning is we all opened this call by saying, I can't wait to meet your son, and that feeling that we get on campus. And that's one of the things that we as faculty and leaders of the school, we all felt that absence of, okay, well, how do we figure out the community aspect of everything that we do here? And we had some great results by moving our advisory program into that online space. So our freshmen have an advisor that they meet with once per cycle. It's a small group, usually about 6 to 10 kids, and they talk about the transition to high school and some of the things that they're experiencing. And we were able to move that online fairly successfully, where as we all had our own stress and anxiety about the way of the world in March and April, those groups could still exist where there were conversations happening. We built a day into our schedule that was basically for students to work with their teachers individually, or that they could meet in their advisory group. Another way that we found that community is growing, at least in our office, as we were doing college counseling with our juniors, we were able to have these Zoom meetings where for the first time, parents didn't have to worry about taking time off work, that we were able to have both parents there. And really that collaboration that we speak about in education between parent and student and school, it broke down some of the barriers in ways that we didn't really realize was able before. So there's a lot, and I know Mr. Dermody is going to speak about this as well. At the end of every school year, you get to the end and say, we did some things well, what could we even do better next year? And I think those conversations, I know those conversations are ongoing right now. If we have to spend time online next year, how can we make that time as meaningful as possible? And also, when we're back on campus, how can we make those moments as impactful as possible?
Yeah, and Mr. Keefe, I think I would reiterate, I think all of us at CM would say, and we often say at CM, right, that we know boys. And I think one of those key beliefs that we have especially is that belief that boys are relational, right? So I even think specifically within campus ministry, right, one of our 3 pillars is community. And I think we fully believe as a staff that, boys seek to have those relationships with each other, especially, but also with their teachers and their coaches. And I think we all agree that's what makes CM so unique, is our size to allow for those relationships to grow. And so certainly in the wake of online learning, I think we've placed, if anything, an extra emphasis on this relational aspect of the boys and the ability to build community. Because I think we know it doesn't happen as naturally in an online setting. But even just this spring, right, we held it in the campus ministry office, virtual online gatherings. And I think now are even working on some strategies to continue to introduce students over safe kind of online avenues to begin to build this community as well. But I also think we as an office are especially putting an emphasis on that time that we hope to have in person together as well. So really being thoughtful about that freshman experience right before the school year, and trying to create as many frequent touch points as possible for the boys to be with each other when they are on campus as well, because I think we know just how important that is to boys.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Well said. I can't emphasize enough how important community is to our school. It's why you come to a place like CM. And community can be something that is passive. You move into a town and you're part of that community. You're just kind of automatically there. CM is not a passive community. We are an active community. You have chosen us. You have chosen to come to Catholic Memorial. Your boys have chosen to get on the bus or take the drive or whatever it is. And so, that's the great thing that we have. We have a leg up on these other, on a lot of other places, is because, this is such an active role that you're playing in this building of community, and we are committed to finding ways and continuing to build that community and bring your boys into that community really intentionally. So be prepared and look out for emails over the summer that will create some groupings for some of the freshmen to meet via Zoom, to meet some of their classmates, some of the students that are already here, some of our peer ministers. There'll be a lot of opportunities over the summer to meet virtually, so that when we do get back on campus, as Mr. Dermody said, the programming can even build upon that foundation. So that's great. So the last question that people had, that someone had that wasn't kind of already answered earlier, was an appropriate one for the time. And this parent asked, with so much going on in the world today, not just COVID, but with all that is going on in the news and across our country, and the conversations about social justice and the need and importance for advocates, what do we do as a school to address these concerns and these issues with our boys? So I'm going to ask Mr. Danzo to speak a little bit about, kind of what is our ethos at Catholic Memorial when it comes to bringing the real world into kind of the bubble that is the high school experience for our boys. Mr. Danzo?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I think it's really important that we all recognize it would be really naive and probably inappropriate or irresponsible to think that when our boys leave our halls, when they leave our classrooms, they cease to exist, right? They engage with the world around them and really engage in the world more than ever with the use of social media. So with that, I think it's really important that our teachers, for people to know that our teachers engage in what we refer to as night-based learning, or KBL. One of the main components of KBL, night-based learning, is making sure that our curriculum engages with real-world relevant situations. So sometimes that may mean dealing with difficult topics such as social injustices. However, it's also really important that those are also age appropriate. So we want to make sure that our students are engaging with the world around them. We're asking them to think about, how does this relate to me, and how does this also relate to the world around me?
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Danzo. Yeah, as part of our mission, we want our students to go out into the world and embrace leadership and embrace stewardship. And part of that is therefore asking them and calling on them to have these difficult conversations and to not turn a blind eye towards it. And certainly they need to be age appropriate, as Mr. Danzo said. But students are exposed to so much, whether it's social media, the news, they're inundated with information and viewpoints. So we really feel that it's our responsibility as educators to provide context for the students and to allow for a platform to have the types of formative conversations that shape a young man. That is what we as a Catholic school believe in. That's what we believe our role is and what our role needs to be. So that concludes our formal program. Again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time out. I have just a couple slides here of reminders and also emails. And again, this has all been recorded and will be sent to you via email. So you can take a screenshot if you want, or you can just wait for that recording to come back. But just wanted to make sure that everybody had the email and contact information for the various people that they heard from today. So members of our administration, Mr. Danzo, Ms. Riley, myself, members of our main office who will really be a critical point of contact for you, Ms. O'Connell, Ms. Henry, and Ms. Batchelor. Mr. Nigerian, our athletic director, and Mr. Dermody, our director of campus ministry. Any questions that you have about any of those two programs, you can certainly send them an email anytime. And then finally, our guidance and academic support staff. Mr. O'Keefe, Ms. Kaplan, Mr. Claiborne, and Ms. Rooney. We are here and want to help guide you through this. We understand that these are anxious times that you're going through. Whether your son is entering in the 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, transitions are difficult and change is hard. And we want to make the transition and we want to make this change process as smooth as possible for you. And know that, we see you as partners and we look forward to this partnership beginning now and setting roots and seeing the fruits of that labor prosper over the next 4 years as we watch your students, our students and your young men walk their journey through Catholic Memorial. Again, I want to thank you all. I want to thank the other members of the panel for taking time of their day to present today, and reiterate my excitement and my enthusiasm to get to meet all of you in person again this fall. And I wish you all a blessed and restful summer vacation. And I hope that you all get time to take a deep breath, reflect, and be grateful for all that we have and all that we will have ahead of us. But thank you all so much. And we will, as we always do, remember to live Jesus in our hearts forever. Have a great summer.